All right, there he is again. Justice Clarence Thomas, an American hero, has gone through so much adversity, though, in the swamp. He and his wife, too, Jeannie, another hero in my book. But you remember the high-tech lynching back in 1991? He's had to deal with more of those. And the latest is a hit job piece, completely unfair, from some website called ProPublica. Clarence Thomas and the billionaire. Let's see, they report that he has been treated to luxury vacations by billionaire Republican donor Harlan Crow. They happen to be good friends. You want to see one of these lavish vacations? You want to see? Wow, huh? Fishing at a pond. Does that look like a big deal to you? And also going on vacation with his wife. This is so scandalous, isn't it? All right, I want to bring in Mark Paoletta. He's the former general counsel of the Office of Management and Budget under President Trump. He's also become very good friends with Clarence Thomas. He's the co-editor of Created Equal. Clarence Thomas, in his own words, he knows him well. Sir, you read the story. First of all, welcome. Good to see you. What do you think of this thing?
As you said, it's another high-tech lynching. It's a Thursday, and they're after Justice Thomas. They've been after Justice Thomas for 40 years, since he came to Washington in 1980 was when they first started to attack him. And he's never wavered. And, you know, Greg, he has put up so many points on the board over these years, right? They tried to take him out in 1991. Then they tried to belittle him and smear him when he went on the Supreme Court. But what did he do? Got to work, wrote opinions, laid out his vision. And guess what? That vision is becoming a reality, and that's why the left is going after him. Okay, he is running up the score, right? And on Dobbs, on the Bruin case, the Second Amendment, religious liberties, reigning in the administrative state. These are all cases and opinions that follow Justice Thomas's roadmap, as I call it. He's written over 700 opinions, and they can't get rid of him. So they try and smear him.
I know that. Is it kind of understood, though, that justices, look, they make, I think, between $250,000 and $290,000 a year, which for most Americans is a lot of money. But these guys, partners of big law firms, they could be making between $1 and $15 million a year. And isn't it somewhat understood, the Supreme Court culture, that, you know, that they're going to possibly be treated with extreme hospitality from time to time? And they do have some freedom to make outside speeches and make money. Isn't that correct?
They do, but I'm just looking at the rules, right, that applied all through these years. And that's the personal hospitality rule, right, which I'll just read from the rule, okay, because I can read the English language and the left obviously can't. Personal hospitality need not be reported. Personal hospitality means extended for a non-business purpose by one at the personal residence of that person or his family, or on property or facility owned by that person or family. So that's pretty clear, Greg. And when you have that Justice Thomas did not have to report any of this, okay? And it shows you that the rule was just changed last month to what the critics will say it's tightening up that language, okay? But until March, it was completely reasonable and the correct answer for Justice Thomas not to report these trips.
So the report is the ProPublica thing is dishonest, because they really make it sound like he had an obligation to report this stuff. Hey, and they also say that he received a lavish gift. And you know what that lavish gift was? You remember? It's a Bible. He received a Bible. They call it a lavish gift. Now, it did have some value. I guess it belonged to Frederick Douglass, and it was worth about $19,000. But, oh, by the way, he put it on his financial disclosure form. So this piece is a sham. You and I know that. But there is some, you know, momentum around it. Democrats are excited. Sheldon Whitehouse, whatever, he wants to have hearings. You think he's got a problem here, a beltway problem?
Look, I'll just go back to one more thing. If you look at the New York Times and NBC stories today, they have the left-wing critic, Stephen Gillers, right, who trashed Ginny Thomas and, in my view, has double standards for the left and the right. He came out and said that Justice Thomas had a plausible interpretation, interpretation of not disclosing this travel. So when you have Stephen Gillers on your side, you're done, in my opinion.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Do you know anything about this man, Mr. Crow? Nice guy. What's he all about?
I love Harlan Crow. He's a good friend of mine. He's an American patriot. He's a great man. He's a kind man. He loves America. He's got one of the greatest libraries in America of our founding documents. And anyone who knows Harlan Crow just thinks this is an absurd story. He's a great man. He has a office complex where he has a debate chamber, and he invites people all the time. And last month he had Hakeem Jeffries, Kathleen Clark, and Congressman Aguilar down to give a talk on the Democrat agenda. So he's a guy who believes in ideas, and he's a patriot. That's what he is. He's a good man, and he's a patriot, and they're smearing him like they smear anyone who gets in their way of implementing the left's agenda.
And there's a genuine connection there between you and him, between Justice Thomas and this man. Unlike, I see liberals flying private jets all the time, Elizabeth Warren, all kinds of people. You can do that. You can fly on those private jets, even though they make $200,000 a year. There are ways, and they get funded, and they get, what do you think those people giving them the money want? They want something in return, obviously. Although I think John Kerry may have, he married rich, so he actually might even own that plane. But he shouldn't be using it, right, Mr. Environmental? Mark Paoletta, you're terrific. Justice Thomas just takes this stuff in stride. Does it bother him? I got to go, but how does he deal with stuff like this personally?
He knows what's going on. They're trying to take him down because he is unyielding in his views on the Constitution, and he's laying it down.
Well, give him my best if you don't mind. I think he's a terrific man and a great man. Mark Paoletta, we appreciate it very much, and we'll be right back.